am here in studio with the Marshfield Fire Chief, Michael LaSelva. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Christine. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. And again, nothing is on fire, but we're talking about ways to prevent fire. And typically right around now when we're getting ready to change the clocks this weekend, it's fall back, right? Spring ahead.
Yep.
I always mix that up. It's the time when we always remind people it's a good time of year to do a couple of things, and we try to tie it in with the fire department. So we're doing that this weekend, Halloween weekend, and I know when we change the clocks, I always think of smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. What does that mean?
Right, Christine. So this October is Fire Prevention Month in the Commonwealth, and so we're just about at the end of it. We've been doing a lot of public education and safety talks throughout the month. As far as smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors go, we ask that you check the batteries, change your batteries, and just check the general condition of your smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors in your home. Kind of the last thing some people think about until they start chirping. But we ask that you do that. Most or all newer smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are now built with a 10-year sealed battery, so you don't have to change out the batteries. But if you do still have units that have battery backups or just run on batteries solely, this is the time of year we ask you to check them. And
even people, if they have the hardwired systems, in their house with alarm and smoke and fire, you still have to test those too, because they wear out as well.
Absolutely, and the point to those is the batteries in those is if you lose power, obviously, and that's why we want you to make sure that you check the batteries and change them out. Always a good idea to do it annually this time of year. And just a reminder, if you do have combination smoke CO detectors in your house, they have to be audible so that you can discern between what the alarm function is, if it's a fire or if it's carbon monoxide. It should basically essentially talk to you.
And it's interesting too, because since I've been in this job since the dawn of time, I still remember. It feels like it. I still remember years ago when the percentage of what you folks responded to, it seemed like fires were closer to 70%, medical issues 30%. Now that seems to kind of have flipped, and I think maybe a lot of that is because these detectors, they really work.
Sure. We're roughly 70-30 to fire medical. That's just the nationwide in the fire service. So that's why it's even more important to stay up on these things. And the reason that is basically because of things like Fire Prevention Month. So much time and effort has been put into education and awareness of fire safety and fire hazards, which is a good thing. A very good thing.
Yeah, and I know that there's a couple of things that go along with that. Now, a lot of our listeners, or many of our listeners, tend to be older folks, and sometimes they might live at home and might not be as handy or as agile as they used to be, and think, I need a little help checking my smoke detector or my carbon monoxide detectors, and I can't get to it. How can your department help them out there?
Sure. We work with some other organizations that if it's brought to our attention and the circumstances warrant, we can go out and give a hand. Sometimes if we're out on calls, like a regular call, if we're on a medical call and we're in somebody's house and it's pointed out to us or our crews see it and it's something we can correct right there, we'll try and help out. The goal is to just make sure that everybody has a safe place to live in at the end of it all. And, if we see something we can correct or help out with, that's what we sign up to do, so...
Absolutely, and I know. And the thing is, if you want to help somebody, it helps to know which house is theirs. It brings up a point that we've spoken about before: house numbers. That you just assume everybody has on their house, but that's not always true.
Right, that's a great point. And me personally, one of my pet peeves, when I was working on the line and going out on calls, if we can't find you, we can't help you. So. To have contrasting numbers affixed to your house itself is the standard. And then, if you have a long driveway and your mailbox is on that side of the street, You put your house number on that mailbox or on a tree. Basically, you just have to kind of look at it as like, you know how frustrating it is when you get directions and you're in the area, but you can't land the plane really
because there's no number on the building.
Exactly.
I've seen that on commercial places, which always surprises me. A lot of commercial buildings, you have to go inside and it's in the lobby. It's like, well, why isn't it outside? I don't know. That always surprises me. Now, what about, I know they always talk about, well, at least I remember this when we were in elementary school, they always talked about have a drill with your family. You still recommend that?
Absolutely. That's one of the most important points that you want to go over with younger kids or even some older adults, is if you should have a fire in your home and you execute your exit plan. Everybody may not go out the same exit. You want to get out as soon as you can, but you also want to know everybody's okay, so you should have like a muster point somewhere. And this is just something maybe you can make it a fun little exercise with your kids or something. But you want to have someplace you're going to all meet up and be accounted for.
I was just thinking when we were talking, but in my kitchen on the side of an old cabinet, I have a fire extinguisher, like a mini one, which I've never really looked at or used. I think it's 20 years old.
Yeah, it's
typically
probably
how long? All right, I'm admitting that on the air.
Well,
how long do they last?
Well, it's usually per the manufacturer's recommendation. Same thing with smoke detectors and carbon dioxide detectors. We get a lot of questions, and one of the things I always start off with is read the little pamphlet that comes with it.
I have no idea
right?
where that is.
Yeah, it's probably long gone. But if you sometimes it's right on the extinguisher or the detector itself on the back of it. Typically you want to look and see how it discharges, the little gauge on it. If that's not in, the needle's not in the spot where it should be to tell you that it's going to expel the extinguishing agent, then probably in plus 20 years old, you probably want to get into one.
I'm just estimating it might be.
That's okay. That's all right.
No, I've said it publicly. I have to take care of it. And any other tips, Chief LaSelva, that you want to talk about that people need or should think of? It's always good to remember during the clock season, but whether you're falling back or springing ahead, it's every 6 months. Good time to check this to make sure you're ready. You can prevent a fire and make sure you're ready if something happens.
Just general awareness and if you think something, you question anything in your house as far as safety goes, like this time of year, it may be good to have your chimney checked. If you have a fireplace and you want to use it may be a good idea to look into that, maybe have it cleaned. And just in general, just use common sense. Things like the extinguishers and the smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, there's online resources you can go through the manufacturer or through mass.gov. You can give us a call, and maybe we can walk you through something. And like I said, prevention and education over the past 50 years is just paramount.
Absolutely. Well, great. We appreciate these tips. And again, this weekend, fall back, which means you change your clock and you lose that. Actually, you gain that hour of sleep. It's the light that you're losing. Now we're getting dark outside.
Right. You wake up refreshed.
Okay, with that, I'm still missing that hour that we lost in the spring, and we appreciate these good tips, and we hope you and your family and department have a happy Halloween over there.
Thank you, Christine. You as well. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, thank you very much. Again, that's Marshfield Fire Chief Michael LaSelva. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Christine James, 95.9 WATD, 59 WATD.